Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Today I just wanted to touch on a specific word in the Quran that's used liberally to refer to people that identify as Jewish today. And I just wanted to dispel a lot of the claims that are made when it comes to translating this word. So I just wanted to start off with the idea of which words do we have in the Quran that, for whatever reason, are all used to refer to people of the Jewish faith. And what's very interesting is right off the bat, you can tell that the people who are called Al-Ladina Hadu, or the people who are called Hudan, or it's not mentioned here, but the people who are called Yahood, all have the same definition, even though they're three different words. And that definition is Jews or Jewish people. So what's very interesting is there's a similar word in the Hebrew language to the Arabic word Yahud, and that is for the word Judah. Now, if you notice, it's pronounced in Hebrew Yehuda. It sounds very similar, that people are more likely to believe that this actually does mean Jew in Arabic, Yahud. But if you notice, that word in Hebrew is derived from the word yada. Yada meaning to praise, but also hand, authority, strength. This is cognate with the Arabic word yad, which means hand. So clearly Yahud cannot mean Jew, which is derived from the Hebrew word Yehuda, because there's two different words in Arabic, yada and Yahud, and they're two different roots entirely. So what I wanted to show you is this notion of the Quranic understanding of this root that is used in the Quran to refer almost exclusively to the people called Jews today. So this root appears in the Quran as the words Yahud, Hudan, and Al-Ladina Hadu. Those are the three versions that they give the same translation for, which makes the Quran appear redundant because there's supposed to be precision in the Quran for these words. The other problem is that if you look into the different words, one of them is Hudan, and this is identical to a prophet in the Quran called Hud. So you would have to question then this civilization that he was sent to, called Ad in the Quran. He would have to be called Jew if we're going to believe that Hudan means Jew, because it's identical. It's exactly the same word. So the question is, what does Hud mean? And for that matter, what does Hadu mean and Yahud mean? Because if it means Jew, then you would have to call this prophet Hud Jewish. And that makes absolutely no sense, since officially this civilization predates any of the scriptures Judaism is alleged to be founded on. So if we go to the Quran, we find that this basically this root ha, wow, dal is the essence of everything, all of the words derived from it, including Al-Ladina Hadu, Yahud, and Hudan. So basically we have in the Quran Yahud, Hadu, Hudan, and this can also mean to repent as well in classical Arabic, as well as in many. I tried to get as many colloquial Arabic phrases based on this root and words, so you can see the full extent of what it covers. So for example, Hud in Gulf Arabic means quietness, calmness, behud, quietly, to go down, to come down, to descend. That will be from North African. Hawada means forbearance, indulgence, consideration, tolerance, clemency, leniency, gentle-heartedness, kindliness. Okay, the relaxation and mitigation of laws, the gentleness. All right. Hawada, to proceed slowly, inebriated, intoxicated. Strangely, this somehow corresponds to make someone Jewish in modern context, but it also means to sing a lullaby to someone, to soothe a child to sleep. So when you look at the various meanings ascribed in today's dictionaries for Arabic, clearly, if we were to believe that the creator of the heavens and the earth is going to um, put in his book that encompasses everything and everyone and allocate so much precious space to a population of people that are just a fraction of the world population today, officially, that doesn't make a lot of sense, especially when the verses that we're going to look at later, inshallah, seem to suggest a much broader definition for this word. So, for example, tahweed refers to Judaization in modern Arabic today in colloquial dialects, but tahweeda means lullaby. Hawada means to be indulgent, forbearing, lenient, considerate, to lower prices. Muhawada, complacence, indulgence. Tahawwad, to become Jewish. Mutahawwid, under Jewish influence. You can read them all for yourself. It's all there. There's a much broader definition from this root than just Jew. So if we go to the idea for this video, notice that the word hada, Yahood, Hud, Hawad, this refers to Jew, but also to repent. And also, Hud refers to the name of a prophet. It's also the name of a chapter, chapter 11 in the Quran. So I just want to highlight with this video that clearly there's no evidence that this word can be translated as Jew in the sense of a religious Jew by today's standards. I'm going to show you in more slides, inshallah, that these people called Yahood, Alladina Hadu, Hudan, they all have specific meanings that you can derive based on the verses that these words are used in. So when you see, someone to Judaize, Hawada, it actually means a lot more than that. And it seems like that is the modern definition that people have ascribed, because when these religions started to be crystallized in our modern times, this is what basically the word became to explain something in the world that is now more prominent, but doesn't fit. It just doesn't fit the universality of the Quran. And basically, you know, if this was the case, if you can imagine like some verses that talk about this, I guess, particular group of people, you would think that it doesn't really define things accurately, because people that choose to be part of a religion or are born into a faith tradition, not all of them are going to have the same traits. So clearly, to God, that doesn't mean anything. It's really all about actions in the end. People are identified mainly through these archetypal actions like al-kafirun, al-mushrikeen. These are broad categories that encompass every type of this type of person. So, and that's why I think that they have created this veneer, the thin veneer of religious categories based on these words, because they're trying to steer the reader of the Quran into a certain religion, as well as establish through these translations, which are redundant. I've already showed how you can't have three different words for the same thing, Jew, ultimately, when Arabic is precise. But they're trying to steer the people identifying by the religion they have tried to gear the readers of the Quran towards, that we call modern Islam today, to recognize not just modern Islamic tradition, but also modern Jewish tradition, also modern Christian tradition, and very strangely, even very obscure groups such as Zoroastrianism and Sabianism. These are very, very tiny groups of people today. There's no way they can fit the criteria of having such a universal, encompassing effect on the world stage when it comes to their mention in the Quran. So, Al-Ladina Hadu. Basically, when you look at this, all you can see is that there's something to do with progress, progressing slowly. This is the best synonym I can find on this overarching idea, moving quietly, consideration, tolerance, obligingness, leniency, people that are gentle-hearted, that proceed slowly, inebriated almost. We need a neutral term to explain what hawada means, the person that progresses. We think about the Western world, it's a nation of progress, right? So you can see that they allow laws to be mitigated. They are too indulgent. They are too lenient, too complacent with the reality of the world today. This encompasses so much more, and I'm going to get into it later on, but I just want to introduce this idea so that you can see the power of the Quran when it comes to accurately describing the world around us, and not the inaccurate statements of man ascribing things to the Quran that they have no business associating. So we'll look at Alladhina Hadu, we'll look at the true meaning of Hud, what it really means, and Nabi Hud's story, as well as the true meaning of Al-Yahud. I even want to look at also Al-Ahbar, since they're mentioned as well. In respect to that, Ar-Rabbaniyun, and something called the Yahud Continuum, which we'll get to in a bit. So that's the video for today, and inshallah we'll try to get this idea of looking at the Quran from the standpoint of any possible person on earth or in history, noticing that the Quran transcends time and space, and so it's going to be relevant to any type of person. There are some people who have known nothing about Judaism whatsoever. So the same applies for Christianity, the word for Christianity in the Quran. We can resurrect the meanings, the true meanings that encompass what the Quran is pointing towards, by resurrecting these roots, the roots, like a good tree. The good word is like a good tree in the Quran. And with enough time and energy and focus, we can, inshallah, try to produce a understanding of the Quran that matches its glory. And with that, until next time, peace.